plays games with Steve.
You know, before we continue this scene, there's something I want to bring up. You know, a few sessions ago. Whatever happened to the whole luminol story?
No.
Oh.
Damn it.
What's wrong?
I left something in the director's office.
What was it?
The picture. God, how could I forget it?
Oh, yeah. I must have set it down after using the face recognition thing.
Yeah. I'm going back. You two go on ahead to the warehouse.
I want to come with you.
Me too.
No, that's fine. Why don't you head back to the warehouse, Sigma? The others are probably already waiting.
All right. I'll see you two later then.
Right.
Bye, Mr. Sigma.
Watch them jog off toward the blue door. As I did the end of a Pokemon episode wave thing. And they were gone.
And so, Sigma and Quark went off into the sunset on their new adventure.
Guess I should be getting back then. You guys up for the Sigma rap?
Oh, we're gonna rap some Sigma. You just do the singing. I'll take care of the hard part. Sigma, 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 Sigma. No thoughts on the picture?
Well, that's Akane, aka June.
Okay.
And he said granddaughter, right? Did he say granddaughter? No, he didn't say granddaughter. He didn't. Oh my god, my memory. There must be one fuck of a time skip. Something's going on here. But that is June, previously from 999. Stop what you're doing and watch that entire Let's Play before you...
Well, you should have actually before watching this, yes.
I stepped into the warehouse to find all the other teams already there. Kay and Luna, Flying Clover, and Dio and himself.
Yeah, and no friends.
The moment Dio spotted me, he dashed over to the rightmost AB room and slid his card through the reader. Oh, I almost thought he was going to dash over to give me a hug.
Oh, Sigma, you're back, baby, darling. Good to see you.
Sack him in the balls.
Yeah.
Alright, they've been open. Yeah, 45 minutes.
As he turned to look at me, I swore I saw a flash of a smug grin. There, happy? This time I waited for you to get back before I opened it. You see? I can be considerate.
But Tenmyoji and Quark aren't here. Yeah, where are they?
I guess they forgot something back in the room we found. They ran back to grab it real quick. Then they'll be here in a few minutes. No big deal. While we waited, we exchanged information about the rooms we'd investigated.
Unfortunately, none of it seemed very useful. None of us had found anything, and we were no closer to unraveling any of the increasing number of mysteries we were faced with. With that discussion exhausted, we sat down to wait. For a long 20 minutes had passed since Dio opened the door, and Tenmyoji and Quark were nowhere in sight. Don't you think they're taking a little long? Yes, I'm getting worried. What if something happened to them?
I'll go have a look.
Then I shall accompany you.
Nah, I'll be fine by myself. It's not that far away.
Just don't look into the abyss too long or you might become a monster.
That's... I don't think... Okay? Look, I'm just going to the director's office. I'll be right back. No big deal. Right. See you guys later. Gave a quick goodbye wave and stepped out of the warehouse. That is me.
That is me.
Sigma. Okay, it's not that quick. It's... I don't know, the floors just seem really big. Oh, no, I'll be really quick. I'm just going to go, all the way through here, up one elevator, and all the way across to another room. I don't like the silence. Why would you look back at the door first? Huh? That's odd. There's nobody here. The picture's gone, though. Tamiochi and Quark must have been here, then. I laid out the floor B map. Oh, yes, I laid out on the floor.
Took a nap.
Yeah. Must have taken the door that faces the warehouse. After that, they probably went through the warehouse and out of the blue door to the elevator. Yeah, that's a much shorter route. On the other hand, I came through the red door, which is kind of a long way around. Huh? Looks like we managed to miss each other perfectly. Ugh. Well, this was a huge waste of time. Shoot. Might as well head back, I suppose. I packed up the map and was head toward the door when... Huh? There was a light on where there hadn't been a light before. Oh yeah. What? Why is that thing on? We messed with it earlier, but nothing seemed to work. I felt a sudden wave of inexplicable, nauseating dread. The light stared at me. I swallowed and edged cautiously toward it. The machine was in arm's reach now. I stretched my hand out toward it, slowly.
So, you finally made it.
No, you're...
I'm Zero. I was the one who brought you here. You undoubtedly have as many questions for me as there are stars in the sky. As you can see, however, this is only a recording. I will therefore be unable to directly answer any questions. Ask if you wish, but I cannot respond.
I considered taking a swing at him, but that was spectacularly futile and kept my bald fist at my side.
Now, where to begin? There are many things I wish to tell you, but unfortunately our time is limited. As such, the information I can provide is also limited. I have chosen two things of great importance to tell you. First, I will tell you about termites. In retrospect, I suppose that's a rather odd thing to say. I imagine you look rather bewildered right now. Perfectly understandable. The person who kidnapped you and threatened you with death is lecturing you about insects. I suspect it hardly seems fair. Nonetheless, this is very important. In a way, it will determine your fate. So I ask that you listen carefully. Have you ever seen a termite mound? They are splendid structures. Some might even call them works of art. Termites are natural architects, and their mounds are both structurally sound and make excellent use of space. So are they following some sort of plan as they build? Are there termite blueprints detailing which room goes where? No, of course not. Each termite is simply an oblivious cog in a tremendous machine programmed by millions of years of termite DNA. It is doubtful an individual termite has any idea what its contributions are helping to create. But a human does. We can appreciate the elegant forms of their alien cathedrals. We can see the simple beauty of their perfect functionality. We can understand the splendid planning of their structure. In other words, only an intelligence of a higher order can understand the beauty of what the termite builds. Now consider humans. Why are we alive? Why do we love and give birth? Why do we create? From where do our cultures spring? There are many theories, but no one knows the truth. We are oblivious cogs in a tremendous machine programmed by millions of years of human DNA. No doubt you see now what this analogy is supposed to illustrate. Yes, I mean to say humans are not different from termites. We trudge through our lives with no greater understanding of our ultimate goal. You might say we don't understand what we're building. Only an intelligence of a higher order than ours can understand what we're doing. Imagine how we might look to such an intelligence. We may be building some structure so perfect and elegant we can't even perceive it. Whatever it is, we've likely been building it on a dimension just above the ones we know since time immemorial. If we are like the termites, then what we've created is almost certainly something of tremendous beauty. And you are about to catch a glimpse of it. Or have you already? Well, that's enough on that subject, I think. Consider what I've said. Now, let's move on to the second topic. It is somewhat more immediately meaningful to your life, and in fact, the lives of several billion other people. I realize this is rather sudden, but I have a password for you. It is the password to disarm the bomb numbered 1.
Bomb?
Are you ready? I will only say this once, so pay close attention and don't press fucking X. The password to disarm the number 1 bomb is...
I didn't press X that time.
I know.
Wait a second.
BQZRGJDXR.
Had no idea what he was talking about. What bomb? Was he saying there were bombs too? He had guessed at my future confusion. He showed no sign of it.
That is the last of the information this message was meant to convey. Before I go, however, I have a warning. You cannot tell any of your companions what you heard or saw here. If you do, you'll be penalized immediately. I hope we will meet again someday. We would have much to discuss.
Wait! God damn it, you can't just spout out all that crap and disappear. Found myself yelling at empty air. It got dark. The hologram had disappeared. What kind of idiot does he take me for? Termites? Other dimensions? How could that have anything to do with kidnapping us? Shit! I kicked out at a nearby shelf. Ow!
10 minutes, dum-dums. Hurry up.
Oh, crap. I need to get back. Not like there's any point staying here. I spun around and ran out of the room toward the warehouse. Grandpa! Look, Mr. Sigma's back.
Took you long enough.
Took me? What about you? Where are the others? In the AB rooms.
They went in already? Yep.
Why didn't you two? Have you been waiting for me?
Yeah. Grandpa said there was something he had to tell you before we voted, no matter what.
Oh?
Nothing that significant. Just wanted to tell you that we're going to choose ally this round. That's it.
And you had to tell me that no matter what? Seems kind of pointless. I mean, words are cheap. You could promise whatever you want.
True, but we got something to back it up. Just hear me out.
Okay, go ahead.
Quark and I both have 8 BP. We're already on the home stretch. So what do we need to get to the magic number? Well, we need you to choose ally. If you do that, it doesn't really matter to us what we pick.
You get to 9 whether you got 2 or 3 points.
Exactly. That being the case, we don't have any reason to betray you. And if we both choose ally, we both gain points.
True, but you must have considered that I'll choose betray. That would mean you'd choose betray to protect yourselves.
And that's why we're telling you we won't choose betray.
Mm-hmm.
Can I trust you?
Of course.
Alright, tell me one thing. Let's say we do this in both ally. Everybody gets 2 points. That means you and Quark will have enough to leave, which is great for you. But I'll be stuck with a measly 5. How do I know you aren't going to just open how do I know you're just not going to open the number 9 door and leave us in the lurch?
I can guarantee it.
How?
I can give you my word. I will not open the number 9 door, even if I have enough points to do so. I swear it. We aren't going to abandon everybody else just so we can escape.
I swear too. I promise.
Man, so all you've got is a promise, huh? When I make a promise, I keep it. Trust me.
Please. You've got to trust us.
Alright, fine. I'll trust you.
2 minutes, dum-dums. We're counting on you, Sigma.
You've got to choose ally. You promised. You promised.
Yeah, more like that.
With that, they turned and ran into the AB room second from the right.
Well, guess I should get moving.
Start.
Start! Da 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 da. Da 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 wow wow wow.
1 minute. I had a decision to make. Should I trust Quark and Tenmyoji? Well, I could believe they were telling the truth and still betray them. That would bring my BP to 6. I'd be that much closer to 9. And choosing betray would guarantee that they wouldn't try to escape without the rest of us. Betrayal seemed like the safe bet. But
Please. You gotta trust us. You gotta choose ally. You promised.
Tenmyoji...
I could betray easily enough,
yeah,
but Quark, what the hell was I gonna do?
10 seconds.
10 seconds, dum. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Too late.
What?
4, 3, 2, 1.
I just want to talk for a moment. I'm like, yeah, it makes sense. Ally, because, trust them. I forget what timeline I'm in at this point, because I forget where, like, the one with Tenmyoji was like, I hate you, I don't trust you. I do remember the beginning of this game with, like, Quark being a deceptive little guy saying some ropey shit. And they also took a long time getting back. It's funny that my gut is telling me betray. Something's fishy around here.
Okay.
Na 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 na.
That's it. Oh, it sucks. I did the whole thing with the tearful reunion and oh, Sigma, I hope you made a good choice.
Sigma, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Betray ally.
Ha! Fuck you! Fuck you! I knew what you were doing! You fucking liars! You fucking portrait! A fucking Akane! Yeah! Sorry.
Sorry.
I'm calm. Oh, but Clover also has 11. So I guess Clover runs out.
Hey, what's the deal? Quark had nothing to do with it. I entered the vote.
So why'd you choose betray?
Couldn't I ask you the same thing? I don't think really this is the time for a fight, though. Look, Clover's over by the door.
What? Oh no.
Oh yes.
Later, bitches.
Don't go.
The number 9 door.
Fuck, she opened it.
Why?
Clover, wait.
Clover! What the hell do you think you're doing?
I'm gonna call the others.
What?
I'll get justice for Alice.
Justice? Wait, do you mean...
Number 9 door.
Wow. Time for me to go.
No!
Please, Clover, wait.
Like hell, I'm just gonna let you walk out of here.
Dio leapt at Clover, his fist raised. Clover easily avoided him and moved toward the door.
Goodbye.
Caught one last glimpse of her face as she slid through the door. It was a mask of ice.
It's closed! Hooray! Yay! Hooray!
Enjoy your stay.
Game over.
Oh. Yeah, try to pull a fast one on old Sigma, huh? Tear at the old heartstrings of old Steve, huh? Well, I know it was still a game over, but I smelled bullshit. What's that kid up to? All right. God, okay, over here. So let's just jump back. Who was Clover paired up with?
I forget. Square, 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 square.
It's gonna be Ally.
Is she with Alice or something?
I forget. We shall see.
Yeah. All right.
I had so many questions to ask Zero. Why a bunny?
Alice. Okay. Luna and Clover.
I am shocked. I have to go out with Clover.
I'm shocked and appalled.
Dun, dun.
Hey, what the hell, guys? Why'd you betray me? Quark had nothing to do with this. I made the vote.
Grandpa.
All right, fine. Why'd you break your promise, Tenmyoji?
I only promised you one thing.
This is what I forgot to bring up.
We wouldn't open the number 9 door even if we got 9 points.
What? So you're not going to leave?
Not what I said. Of course we're gonna leave.
What?
Look. See Clover over there?
What? Don't tell me.
Oops, busted.
Oops, silly me.
Oh no.
She's...
That bitch!
Wait, Quark and Tenmyoji have...
Words were barely out of her mouth when Tenmyoji and Quark ran past.
No! God damn it!
Clover, are you really going to leave? Well, yeah. Why else would I open the door?
But why?
I'm gonna go call the others, so we can capture Zero Senior. Tenmyoji, are you and Quark going too?
Yeah, sorry about that.
Sorry, everybody.
So, Sigma, happy? I kept my promise. Clover opened the door, not me.
Like hell I'm happy. That's some shady shit, Tenmyoji.
If you say so. I have to get out of here, and that's that. He's got to pay for what he's done. He? Zero.
You mean you know who Zero Senior is?
Yeah. No point keeping it a secret now, I suppose. I know exactly who Zero Senior is.
What?
Are you going to tell us? No, I'll get help. I'll come back for you.
Wow.
Let's go. Let's go. Come on, guys. Time to move.
Right.
Oh, wait. This is for you, Mr. Sigma.
Quark held something out.
I looked down to see 2 pieces of folded paper. What is this?
It's a letter. I wrote it in the director's office before the AB game. I wanted to tell you what kind of guy Grandpa is. So, read it, okay?
He pressed it into my hand.
See you later, Mr. Sigma.
Then he turned and ran toward the door, Tenmyoji and Clover following in his footsteps. I was so surprised by the letter that I didn't even try to stop them. Before I could think of anything to say,
See ya.
Goodbye.
Tell us who Zero Senior. Oh.
Oh! Those Seniors! Oh!
Number 9 door's closed. Hooray! Hooray! Hooray!
Shit. They're gone.
All we can do now is hope they bring help back.
Indeed.
I agree.
Looked down at Quark's letter and slowly unfolded it. His handwriting was still slightly uneven, but he filled both pages with writing. I began to read. It was a really stormy day.
Quark's voice,
Okay.
yeah.
It was a really stormy day when he found me. He said the rain was coming down so hard it almost hurt, but somehow he managed to hear a baby crying. I guess I must have been crying pretty loud. He took me home and did his best to raise me, but he'd never been married or had a kid before, so I think it was really hard for him. He couldn't figure out how to mix the formula, so he was always carrying the directions around with him. Also, I guess I was a pretty picky eater, so if he didn't get the water to formula ratio just right, I wouldn't eat. I guess I was a kind of a pain, huh? But he didn't give up, and now here I am. When he found me, I was really, really small, and he was worried that I might not make it. That's why he named me Quark. A quark is a really, really small thing, and I was really, really small too. Grandpa didn't need to worry, though, because it turned out that I was pretty tough. When I was 1, he forgot I was sleeping in the bed of his truck and drove off. I rolled out and went off the back, but I didn't even get scratched. I started walking when I was 2, and when he wasn't looking, I fell down the stairs. I didn't get hurt then either. When I was 3, I got really sick. I had a super high fever for a week, but eventually I got better. I guess you could say I'm pretty lucky.
At age 4, he threw me like a football. I was fine. Age 5, he slam dunked me like a basketball.
Age 5, he tried shooting an apple off my head with a bow and arrow.
He missed 8 times.
Anyway, I didn't really have any more accidents after that. And I was a pretty healthy kid. By the time I was 6, I had started helping Grandpa out with his work. His job was to gather junk from abandoned buildings. Then he'd fix it up or pull out the useful parts and sell them. There were plenty of abandoned buildings, but finding good stuff in them was hard. You'd have to know which parts were useful, or you could end up wasting a bunch of time. Every time I'd find something, he'd explain to me what it was, how it was supposed to work, how to fix it, all sorts of things. Usually, though, I just wanted to finish up work so I could go to the theater. The theater came to our town once a week in a wagon. It'd show old news or movies. I went every single week, but Grandpa only went once in a while. And he'd only go weeks when they showed movies. Oh yeah, I didn't know that I'd been adopted until I was 7. One of the other kids on my block told me. I guess after Grandpa found me, he looked all over town to try and find somebody who'd take me. The kid from my block actually had a mom, and he'd ask her if she would take me too. I gotta admit, I was pretty shocked when I heard that. There weren't a lot of kids with parents around, so hearing that someone lived with his actual mom was pretty impressive. I was also kind of surprised that Grandpa had tried to get someone else to take me. That mean he didn't want me? The kid who told me about Grandpa trying to get rid of me was a real jerk. He was totally spoiled, and he'd brag to everybody about how he had a mom. He liked to come up to me while I was working and say stuff like, "Must be hard not having a mother." It never bothered me before, but after I found out that Grandpa had adopted me, I started to think that maybe he didn't really want me. If I could work on my own, if I could work on my own, then he could get rid of me. I was scared to know the truth, so I never asked him. Then one day he took me to a bar in our neighborhood. During the day, of course. He went there sometimes to drink scotch, but I'd never gone before. When we got in, he just walked up to the counter with that grumpy look he has, and I thought, oh no, he's going to make me work here. But I was wrong. I saw him pass something to the bartender, and then he picked me up and sat me down on the stool next to the counter. The stool was pretty high, especially for a 7-year-old kid, and my legs were dangling off of it. It seemed really, really high to me, and I was pretty nervous. Eventually, the bartender came back over with a glass of scotch and another big glass full of something else. As I looked closer, I realized that the second glass was full of some sort of brown liquid with a scoop of ice cream in it. It took me a minute to realize what it was. A root beer float. I'd never seen one of them before. I was so surprised. Root beer was even more expensive than the nicest alcohol in the bar. To me and the other kids, it seemed more like an urban legend than a real drink. But there it was, right in front of me. I stared at the float. I still wasn't sure it was real at that point, and then turned to look at Grandpa. He looked back at me. I didn't know what to do, so I turned to the bartender. He had already turned around and moved off, though, so I figured he might have to put the glass down in front of me on purpose. It still didn't seem like it could be real, and I was just staring at it when Grandpa told me to hurry up and drink it before the ice cream melted. His gruff voice sounded like an angel's. "Is this really mine?" He nodded. Words can't describe how awesome it was. I'd never tasted anything like root beer before. The creamy sweetness of the ice cream made my entire head feel light. I felt like the luckiest boy in the whole world. That's not an exaggeration. I really thought that. The root beer float was delicious, but what made me even happier was Grandpa. When I looked over at him, he was smiling. I know that's got to be hard for you to imagine, but he really was. Right then, I didn't care whether he just found me and adopted me or not.
This is a big piece of paper.
Yeah. This kid also knows pretty big words, too.
Yeah.
He bought me a root beer float. That made me way luckier than some kid who had a mother but had never tasted root beer. Of course, after we left the bar, he was the first kid I bragged to.
Fuck your mom. I had root beer, idiot.
Your mom should die.
Root beers are better.
So Grandpa and I were doing pretty good until the fight. I was in a super bad mood that day. I had torn one of my shoes that morning, and some old drunk guy had yelled at me. All the junk I found was totally useless. The day was almost over, and I was fed up. So I just grabbed some random trash and took it back to the house. When I showed what I found to Grandpa, he frowned. He started going through each thing I brought back, explaining why they were all useless. I got really mad and just yelled, "I don't care!" Then he got mad, and I couldn't take it anymore, so I ran away. I was pretty upset, and I started thinking that maybe Grandpa had only adopted me so he could raise me to work and make money for him. After a while, I went and hid in an abandoned building, but by then I'd started to calm down and think that maybe I should go back and apologize. It had started raining pretty hard. Though, so I decided I should wait for it to stop. But that was just an excuse. Truth was that I was nervous. Part of me knew I'd done something wrong, but I didn't want to admit it. The rain didn't stop though, so I just sat there staring out at the gloomy gray sky. I imagined Grandpa coming to get me. It kept raining all night, and he never showed up. I gave up waiting and decided it was time to go home. I was about halfway there when I heard somebody groaning. At first I thought I should just ignore it and not get involved, but I went over anyway, and it was Grandpa. He was totally soaked, and I couldn't tell right away that he had been there for a really long time. I yelled and he opened his eyes a little bit. He smiled weakly and said he was glad I was safe. He spent all night out in the rain, looking for me. I felt awful. Grandpa had been out in the rain looking for me so long that he collapsed. I was horrible. He heard me crying in the rain, but I hadn't heard him. As I ran to get the doctor, I promised whatever God might be listening, that if they would only save Grandpa, I'd never ask for another root beer float ever again. He got a really bad fever, and his temperature wouldn't go down for days. The doctor said that if it kept up, he'd die. If he died, then I'd be all alone. There wouldn't be anybody left to care about me. The thought of that happening terrified me. Fortunately, I must have passed some of my luck on to Grandpa, because a week later his fever finally broke. I was glad he wasn't going to die, but I was also a little scared. What if he had decided he didn't want a stupid kid like me around anymore? My plan was to apologize as soon as he woke up, but when the moment came, my brain just stopped. Grandpa started to talk, and it took me a minute to realize he was apologizing. I didn't know what to think. He explained that he was an old man, and that meant he was probably going to die sooner rather than later. He was strict with me because he wanted to make sure that I'd been able to make it on my own after he was gone. But maybe he'd been a little too strict. All the things I'd worried about had been stupid and selfish. Grandpa cared about me a whole lot. He'd been worried when I ran off. He'd gone out in the rain to look for me. I tried to apologize, but when I opened my mouth, I just started crying. I don't think I've cried that much since I was a baby. But he just smiled and patted my head. I asked him if he'd ever regretted adopting me. His eyes got all wide and he said, "Of course not." He told me that he was looking for a really important lady. Because of that, he had to give up on pretty much everything else in his life. But when he took me in and started raising me, he felt like he had gotten some of what he lost back. That was when I decided I'd stay with him forever. Even if he said I couldn't.
Just like it's like one of those. It's the dot matrix paper. It just like continues to unfold. And oh boy, are those credits? Are those credits I hear?
Oh, I hear those credits in the distance. We'll skip them.
That's a strange 10 OG. And
root beer Ventus.
What's the story? 10 OG. Does it feel like 40 sheets of paper? Okay.
All right. Well, next time we'll go a different way. Bye.
We will.